In a relationship, when should we join our finances? Happy Valentine's yesterday! Got a few questions in about similar topics such as this, so I'm going to roll it into one question of when you're in a relationship, when should you join your finances? This is a really personal thing. Many people will approach this in different ways, and a lot of people will do it at different stages of their relationship, and some people will actually never do it. So first thing to say here is that if you are not comfortable joining your finances and combining all of your finances just because you're in a relationship, that is okay. A lot of people will see someone they know combine finances with someone they're in a relationship with really early on, and this can make people feel a bit nervous and think maybe they should be doing it as well. Basically, the stage that other people do things in the relationship should have no effect on you, so you need to consider yourself. Are you ready? Is this something you want to do? When you come into a relationship, everybody has baggage, and you especially will have baggage when it comes to your money and your values around money. With this, to get two people aligned where you're coming from the same value set and the same idea of how you're going to spend and use your money, you need to actually have serious discussions around this. Do not just jump in and assume that you are aligned with your values, with how you plan on using your money, because that is a sure way to have a lot of arguments or even possibly put too much strain on the relationship overall. When you start thinking about combining finances for a relationship, you need to have some very serious discussions. Talk about whether your values are aligned. Talk about your long-term goals. Talk about how you want your relationship to develop from where it is now to get towards your long-term goals. If you're not comfortable having this discussion now, that's okay. Reassess and just push it back a few months. Maybe have it in 2, 3, 4, even 6 months. Push it back and have the conversation again later on. This really shouldn't be a deal breaker. If you're in a relationship with someone and you want to combine finances, or they want to combine finances, and one of you isn't comfortable yet, don't make this out to be a deal breaker. In a lot of circumstances, people just need time to get comfortable with the idea of combining finances. So you can start slow, you can have the discussion and then come back to it a month later and talk a bit more about how you want to do it. So with all serious topics that you're going to cover with your relationship, you need to get the two people involved aligned on their timings and their values. Timing is really important on this. So to make sure both of you are aligned in your timing and your comfort level with what you're doing, it is okay to delay and reassess later. That's a perfectly acceptable strategy. That being said, you need to have the conversations. So if you talk about where you're at now and decide after a bit of discussion you're not comfortable doing any combining of expenses now, or doing not much now, you still need to come back to it later. So you need to schedule that chat. You need to make sure you follow up on that chat 1 month, 2 months, whatever amount of time later, so that it is happening and you're not just ignoring what could be a big issue later. This is a really important point here. Do an audit on your finances together. What that means for you is get together, sit down at a table and go through everything financially. Look at your income, your debt, your spending, your cash flow month to month. Look at all of your assets, compare them against all of your debts, and do this for both partners individually and then jointly. This is a really good jumping off point to talk about some of the very serious things. So one of you might be far more comfortable with debt than the other. One person might need more savings in the bank to feel comfortable, and one of you might even be bringing in a lot of debt or be very tight month to month, where the other person is really comfortable with their spending and with managing their money. This can be really awkward. It is not always an easy conversation. A lot of times you will feel awkward talking about this stuff, so it's okay to delve into it at different times. You don't have to do this in one sitting. It can often be a good idea to do this for say half an hour one day and to just forget about it for another couple of weeks before you sit down again. So both of you have had time to think about what you talked about and how your personal situation will correspond to what you will do together. As a quick intermission, we have a seminar coming up on the 23rd of March. It is called Kickstart Your Money. We're going to go through loads of ways to improve your situation, from your spending, your income, investing, and then just moving towards your plan. So how to achieve your goals by getting your finances sorted. If this is something you'd be interested in, you can search our Facebook events page and get information on it there, tickets there, or you can go directly to Eventbrite and search Money Bootcamp and you'll find us too. Okay, so a natural point that a lot of people will start to combine expenses or will do a really big overhaul and combine more, if not all of their expenses, is when they move in together. If you have moved in together, start slowly, start combining things. So certain things like your rent, your bills, electricity, gas, all your heating, your internet, whatever it is that is related to your accommodation, that is an easy area to combine first because it is very clearly shared and people are often far more comfortable doing this than starting to combine everything else together first. After this, it can be a great idea to start doing your weekly grocery shop together. This is another great area to have some little arguments and fights because you start to combine what you're eating together, how you're planning out your week, meal-wise, etc. This is going to be another great area where you can actually save money by combining stuff, but also you need to plan ahead more. Like I've said before, you don't have to do this all in one go, so it's okay to do one or two things at a time. Some people will just rush in and do everything at once, but that can be a bit more of a recipe to having a few fights and a few arguments along the way as you discover how these things go. So if you're not sure about this, do one a month, do two a month, whatever it is, until you combine more and more. Sometimes certain parts of your relationship will move faster than others just due to circumstances. So you may not be living together, you might only be going out a small while and one of you loses a job or have to move apartment and you actually have to move in together really quickly. This is just because life gets in the way and things happen. That does not necessarily mean you all of a sudden have to jump ahead of the normal timeline of your relationship. You don't have to rush everything and combine everything just because one thing has jumped ahead. So it's okay again to take this slowly and move at your own pace. Just because one thing has happened, don't assume this means you need to do everything together and combine all of your expenses just because your living expenses have connected or some other area has connected. As your relationship gets more serious, as it gets longer term, if you start having children or pets or just combining more and more of your lives in general, it can be really useful to combine all of your expenses. So if you choose to do this, take your time, do it at your own pace. Make sure you're discussing each step of the way so that both of you are comfortable with the pace of what you're doing and with each stage of what you're doing. And mostly you do not have to do it all in one go, so it's okay to take your time and go bit by bit. This has been a Personal Finance Friday video from Money Bootcamp. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share with anyone you think will find it helpful. As we discussed in the video, we have a seminar coming up on the 23rd of March. If you're interested, get your tickets now. If you have your own questions, send them to us and we will make a new video every Friday. Money Bootcamp, learn money, live better.